All right, so we're going to break for lunch in about 5 minutes. But before we do, we have a special presentation from one of our sponsors, which is 360 Vidi. We're going to be talking a little bit more about their newest technology application that combines vineyard data for all of us. So take it away, Gino.
Awesome. All right, we're going to start off. Thanks so much. I think that gives a really good summary of what I'm kind of going to transition into. And I'm here really to describe the transition in Fruition Sciences and into our new platform, 360 Vidi. My name is Gino, and I do sales for Fruition Sciences. And really, we combined lots of different data together. A lot of thought leaders came together with wine growers from around the world, grapevine physiologists, researchers, data scientists, and software engineers, and put together this platform in a way really to look at these different forms of data together and try and organize those in a fashion to understand kind of the best ways to combine those and look at them and move forward with those. So at the end of the day, it really is about saving time and saving money. And if you are kind of confused on a lot of different numbers, looking at those together, it doesn't do really either of those. So what type of platform really is this? And we really wanted to go into more of a holistic view, and I mean that kind of in the broad sense of just like you go to the doctor and they give you a chart of where you were before, what maybe medications you've taken, and try and go with a diagnosis. Really, that was the approach here, and we really wanted to have as much usable data as possible where we could customize it too. So that's the direction. There's a couple different ways that the data comes in. I'm going to describe kind of the couple different applications, but mapping is the first one here. And mapping is really the way that we can save different data either at a crossroads between really using this data spatially or using it over a time period. So you don't necessarily have to just be connected to an automatic NDVI provider or something like that to look at different maps, but there's many different ways to really understand and start predicting what you can do with these maps. So on the bottom there, maybe you can see it, is a timeline of the different maps available. This is a progression over time of, it could be something as simple as trying to organize it for just irrigations or winemaking team, or we alluded to the time periods as well. So that's one way to go about organization. So hopefully it's a little quicker and understandable. We start getting into comparing, and I think this is where we start to see a little more power to this application. And really, we start to go forward with analyzing many sources of data here and recognizing patterns a lot quicker. So I asked the question, when is the last time you've really looked at different years, different locations, different weather, lots of different sources of data next to each other without logging into multiple different places? And I think that's a question that we came back to. A couple people have alluded to that and said we need that to be able to recognize patterns and really be able to use this data a lot quicker in greater detail. So that is part of these layers next to each other. And they're not really layers, they're actually slots next to each other. And you can outline it's actually 6 different maps next to each other and scroll around with each map at the same location. So that's what the bar is off to the farthest to the right there. And we go into the second application is graphs. So this is where we get into the time frame over the whole year. You can look at just a seasonal detail, or you can start really diving into just small windows of time. I think that's important to organization. You don't have to go into all the time periods, but you can really simplify really how this works. So this is where we're comparing multiple blocks, but we also get into a way that we can actually compare multiple vintages as well. And this is where we're really bringing in lots of information, starting to look a little bit deeper into maybe it's fruit maturity, just post-verasion, maybe it's decisions that you've made in previous years, and you want to make kind of a wine that's similar to that. I know that that's already been said. But this is also a way where we can start extracting the data out and start pulling out for a report internally, so you can communicate internally. You start recognizing patterns from past decisions, and they can start impacting really the future decisions. So you're making a wine that is similar because of those decisions. So this is really to support really all your wine growing decisions, multiple sources of data, bringing that together. And the final application here is dashboards. And this is where we're trying to summarize the pertinent information that we have. So we bring together the maps and the graphs together on a smaller scale into these small cards. Each one of these are really usable. They're interactive. We have a KPI at the very top there, and that's connected to maybe weather stations that you want to compare, or small parameters going that direction. So, and I highlighted out that you can keep it private, so there's a toggle privacy as well. Maybe you can use that between teams to share it a little bit quicker, or you can really go about sectioning off and saying this is trials, this is research, this is just a time period or multiple clients or something like that. So the other option here is ways to pull out the data. If you wanted to quickly pull it out, you can actually export any of this information. And this just gives us a quick visual example for communication. So within a team, making it really quick, and then taking more corrective actions to move forward. So I already talked a little bit about that, but to help decision making and going that direction. And the last one here is finally setting up notifications. And when we get to notifications, we can start creating kind of a safety net for precautions and moving forward that direction. So they're already giving us alarms. And this isn't just weather for frost, but we're also talking about maybe a plant parameter or a sensor in the vineyard, or a lab analysis or something that gives us a little bit of an alert and an alarm. And that's really it. If you have more questions, I'll be out at the back here, and we can talk a little bit more, but I hope that you get a good understanding of how maybe these sources of data can come together, be visualized, and we can move forward to help you make the best wine possible. Thanks.